Hello my friends, welcome back. We are going to be just loading up the last of the batteries that I charged. I took a few minutes before starting the recording today. Well, actually I did record it, I just cut it out of the video because it was 15 minutes of me running around collecting resources and recharging batteries. So I decided to save you guys the stress of that, and we are going to take out the Nautilus. And why is that forward hatch open? Yeah, let's fix that. I want to know if this will dock. Will it dock? No, I guess we have to be inside it. Okay, just go over here, come back. And that hatch should have closed. I don't know why. It's some sort of proximity error or glitch. Glitch. Probably what it was. But let's take out the Nautilus, and we are going to shut down the nuclear engines of the Aurora. Or at least seal them up so that there's no more radiation leaking anymore. Now, we have these side camera, or we have 3 cameras that we can use on the Nautilus. This upper camera, which is 360, and basically we can look around. The lower camera, 360, we can look around, and there's one on the tail. I don't know, I don't like this one on the tail very much, but, you know, in the meantime, here are some upgrades that I did before we went in today's video. So I just built the efficiency, what is it called? The efficiency module, which reduces how much power we use, and we put together the first depth module, and then just you run over to the other side of the engine where you got all your components and you throw them in, and now we have a 900 meter depth for the Cyclops, which is really fun. Also, while we are headed to the Aurora, I want to just show off some of the little tidbits that might have been collected over the last episode. You know, just things like, I mean, what the gel sack does, what the blood vine's for, and yada yada. And we'll take a small look at creepy guy, crab squid, and the fact that it says basically don't use light around this thing. It will draw its unwanted attention. It's fun. And now let's look at even though we have the puddle jumper loaded into the docking bay of the Nautilus, we still have the ability to walk underneath it. Like, the docking bay area is not entirely shut down, which is not really all that necessary. I mean, it's out of the way. It's one of those areas you just don't need. I will cut to some footage that I filmed before of walking underneath the puddle jumper while it's in the cargo bay. It's kind of cool. And then, even though I left that door open, you can see we can just jump straight into the puddle jumper and leave the ship. It just closes those bulkhead doors before it ejects the ship out of, or whatever you have in the docking bay, out of it. And hey, look, we found a life pod. That's still floating. Uh-oh. It does look like it did go a little bit sour for whoever was in there. So, and one thing that this does right now is it shows kind of the slight inconvenience or convenience of climbing in and out of the Nautilus, which is not a bad thing. So we got a decoy. That's fun. I've never used these personally, but you know, whatever.
New PDA data.
Another interesting thing about the Nautilus is the Nautilus will always try to maintain level. If there is an object blocking it from level, it obviously will be tilted or whatever based off of that situation. But for the most part, the Nautilus is going to try to stay level. And we have a few more controls within the Nautilus that I'll show off before, for example, like, let's shut off the lights before we leave. So this is a good place to park the Nautilus. And, oh yeah, I should probably turn off the engine. Ugh. Don't want to burn up power while I'm gone, because I mean, whatever. Let's turn off the lights, and you can see how dark it gets in here. This can be useful if you're around crab squids. You can shut down the lights of the Nautilus and potentially reduce the chance of that unwanted attention. But the rest of the ship goes pitch black. It is pretty hard to navigate around without that. But let's go into the Aurora. And shut down the engine.
All systems online.
I don't know why I was diving deep. I saw resources and I was like, ooh, resource. Wait a minute. Let's get back on task. So, funny enough, in going into the Aurora, I reveal the fact that you can get lost in the wreckage here. And part of this getting lost was influenced by the fact that I had the sound of of one of the Reaper Leviathans in proximity to me. So I was just kind of trying to stay out of the way, because I literally feel that even though we have the stasis rifle and stuff, that we are still prey when it comes to trying to be in the Seamoth and go up against a Reaper Leviathan. So this platform right here, when you finally find it, it actually turns out you just got to be close to the surface and look for the platform. Be careful of these spidery things. I realized I did not have my repulsion gun or repulsion cannon in my... That actually did jump scare me. Holy cow. I didn't have the repulsion cannon in my hotbar to be able to use it. And yeah, I don't like being close to those spiders, so having the repulsion cannon is really nice. And you can hurl them at high velocities at walls and stuff, and most of the time it kills them. But you can see very quickly we are going to burn power on that repulsion cannon really fast. So I am depending on past knowledge of the area that we will be able to find some more batteries over the course of the time of using the repulsion cannon. And in the meantime, this area up here actually tripped me out the first time I played the game, because I didn't even know that I could enter the rest of the ship from here. And that's because, if you look, that beam swoops down and makes it hard to see. And that beam, if we follow it around, it doesn't feel like this is a pathway we should go. It almost feels like we're just crawling around in the wreckage. But this is actually one of the ways to enter, one of the two ways to enter the Aurora in its damaged state. And I said two ways to enter. It basically is one giant loop that we're going to go around. So you could enter from either end. You might find PDAs in a different order, and I think, as a result of the direction that we find the PDAs, that this is the way that they intended you to go, but it's hard to say. Admittedly, I did enter through the lower entrance the first time that I played, and the second, potentially the third, I don't know. But it wasn't... I didn't even really think of this as the way to go in until a later date. So, pick and choose as you want. Personally, for me, I am much more fond of this way of entering the level. Now, some things that you need to make sure of in order to succeed at going through the Aurora. The main things you really truly need are one, the transmission, where they tell you how to get into the captain's quarters. Then the tools that you need is the laser cutter, the repair tool.
Aurora systems are running on local reserve power, unable to remotely download black box data.
So the repair tool, the laser cutter, and you need the repulsion. That being said, well, hey, we got a log that we can play. Sweet.
Exiting sleep mode. Loading voice recognition. Engineer Barclay and Chief Technology Officer Q identified.
Drone, get me a propulsion cannon.
Repulsion cannon retrieved.
Hey, Berkeley. Install that circuit box with that repulsion cannon and you'll punch a hole in the cargo bay.
Damn it, Drone, I said propulsion, not repulsion. Recalibrate sensors.
Senses recalibrated.
Sensors aren't the problem. I tweaked the program. It's like you now. It doesn't like being told what to do.
Drone, I know...
His name's Albert now.
Albert, I know it's not your fault, but it would really help me do my job if you'd bring me what I asked for. Thanks for your time.
Propulsion cannon retrieved.
Thank you. Now go away.
Entering hibernation mode.
Boss, this hobby of yours isn't making my job any easier. Or safer.
Maybe so, but it's all that's stopping me from being so bored I take a spacewalk in my skivvies.
Okay. So, probably not the most useful log to play, but here's where we need the repulsion cannon, because we can move debris out of the hallway of our impending future, right? So it is, as a result, you'll actually find at the 2 entrances that you cannot pass these 2 points without the repulsion cannon. It's kind of like your ante to entry or ante up for playing the game, right? I don't know how to say it. And you'll find yourself a little bit more comfortable if you have a flashlight, or in my case, I have the light stick. Let's listen to this.
To any Altera crew. Landed in area of significant alien activity. Encountered predators in the Leviathan class, highly aggressive. Spectroscope scanner assigned species designator Reaper. One specimen attempted to swallow the life pod, doing extensive damage in the process. Only viable option is to make for the safety of the Aurora crash site. I have retrieved a data box with the creature decoy and enough resources to fabricate a couple of them. The swim's longer than the decoy lifetime, but it should just be enough to keep them busy. If you don't find me on board the ship, presume I miscalculated.
So, while he was playing his audio log, if you noticed, I went in and I looked at one of the other hints and clues and got the pin code for this door. That allowed us into the cargo bay. Again, we have to find some of these PDAs before we proceed, right? And let's see here. There's the decoy. Yeah. And I'll just speed this up because, oh look, another Cyclops piece. Huh. I guess we could have found part of the engine in here, right? So here's where another barrier of entry. We've got need for a repair tool. Now, this room would be a really good early game room if you didn't have the puddle jumper already. I mean the sea moth, because you get several pieces of the sea moth here, making it so that you only have, I think you only have 1 piece to find after this, and you get the first depth upgrade. So now that I'm thinking about it, I kind of will have 1 useless depth upgrade. That's funny. But you know, I've been kind of playing it slightly out of order, so I didn't come to the Aurora earlier. But that's okay. You know, that's the beauty of Subnautica. Like, there is a lot that you can do before certain things happen. And there are some things that have to happen in order, but it worked out. Like, you can't get the Cyclops before you find all the Cyclops pieces. It's a given. Anyway, right now we are just outside the engine room, where we will be able to fix the kind of radiation problem that we've got, you know? And this radiation room, this engine room is really kind of cool. Yeah, we ran out of material in there, so we're just going to throw that away. Ooh, look, another module. But what we've got to do here is, if you look over here, we've got the... Oh, kind of messed up my mouse there. We've got these, like, ruptures on the side of the reactor cores. We've got to repair these reactor cores. And thank goodness they have a commentary that says, oh yeah, there was 11. Now you've got 10 to fix. So it helps you keep track of how far you have to go. Now, this water is a little bit annoying, especially in early game, because of the fact that there are these leeches that are hiding in the water. We had a jump scare in one of the first or second, or maybe the third episode, where one of these leeches attached to us. And now that I have the repulsor gun, I'm going to kind of keep my eyes open. And if they get close, I'm going to kick them away. Yeah. So these ruptures are what is allowing the radiation to get into the environment. And if we didn't have a radiation suit on, which we still have on, we would be definitely dead in this area. There's no surviving. Oh, there's one of the leeches right there. Oof. Yeah. Pretty sure it doesn't survive that. Yeah. It gets that's a pretty heavy hit against the wall when the repulsor gun launches it. It's great. Back to all those ruptures. Once we kind of seal these off, we don't need the radiation suit anymore, which is a good change, because there is another suit that we can build that uses a little bit of lead and actually gives us more kind of armor defense against things biting us or whatnot, or slows down our degradation of health, depending on the situation.
Containment breach repaired.
That could be helpful,
Further breaches
especially since our next steps are going to be putting us in a little bit more danger. Yeah, we're going to have to go out to like the dunes and kind of find some more tech, because we need the mining tool for the prawn suit in order to make it totally useful. We have the grappler, which is my other favorite arm that you can get for it, and you also need the mining apparatus for it in order to really help out for future events. And there have been, I don't know if you've noticed as we've been playing through, but there are these larger rocks of material, and we can't touch those really or activate any of them without the prawn suit's mining arm. But it gives us a lot of resources in one go. The prawn suit comes with a built-in inventory, which allows the prawn suit to collect what it's mining. Yeah, you know, it works out.
Radiation levels decreasing.
So we have done it. We have zeroed out, or at least repaired these to the point where they are not leaking radiation all over the place. That's good to know. Sadly, the radiation does not seem to affect the Reaper Leviathans. Otherwise, I'd leave them on, because there's like 4 Reaper Leviathans out south of the Aurora. And now that we've finished with the engine room, let's go find the prawn bay. So we have to cut through here. We got a locker room that we got to go through. There's a few things that I found. I kind of slowed it down so you could see what was being said right there. The sweet offer, we do need to pay attention to this, because it does have one of the door codes right here. So, yeah, that'll come in handy. And then, oh, another battery. Cool. We get to the prawn bay. And luckily, we just have to repair the door in order to get into the prawn bay. But look at this. We have 1, 2, and like, I think 5 prawn suits. No, 4. 4 prawn suits ready to scan, which means this room by itself is where you need to get the prawn suit, or could get the prawn suit. Easy peasy, and not a single miss here. You do have to avoid the flames a little bit, but you know, it's not that bad. So there's the second piece of 3 that we need for the prawn suit. There's 2 on the wall over here, and that's why we kind of got to dodge the fires, or put out the fires if we had enough fire extinguishers. Oh, there was 5. My bad. I thought there was 4 for a second, but there was 5. And so as a result, we don't even need to scan the last one, because I guess we needed 4 pieces of the prawn suit. And here it is, really just easy peasy. But it doesn't give us the mining adapter, so we will still have to hunt that one down. And this is another point in time where we have the barrier of entry, which requires the repulsor gun. And these stairs on both sides, well, it's kind of more blocked by fire on the other side, but just blocked by cargo on this side. I think there's also cargo that's blocking it behind the fire. But get all the stuff out of your way, clear the stairs, and you're good to go up here, where we have the last pinned rooms. Well, through 2 more pinned rooms that we have to do. And check this out. You get a vending machine. I'll tell you more about that later. Anyway, as we're kind of zipping through this area, there's just a lot of stuff to pick up, a few things that you can scan. A lot of it we've already scanned, so I'm not really taking the time to look for and scan the extra items. I also don't want to pick up a whole bunch of extra junk right now, so yeah. Hey, there's another PDA. That'll be useful. There's a couple of memorabilia in the captain's room where... no, we're not in the captain's room. We're in that side room. But you got that ball cap and that little creature that reminds me a lot of Figment. But it apparently has more lore in other games. But you can pick those up and you can set them up in your base as kind of nostalgic things. And you saw earlier that we picked up a poster, and you can put that on the wall. It's pretty cool. Even though we now have picture frames that we can also put our own pictures into, which is also cool. And then we've got the captain's quarters that was sent to us in that one message. Boop. And another PDA. Yay! And the needed documents. Look, even a shelf. That's why I scanned the shelf earlier, is because you can scan it and have a nice place to put your collectibles that you can't take with you. So now we have another blueprint. This blueprint is kind of the end game item, because if we try to use it early, obviously that nice, beautiful, big green gun will shoot us down, and it will be end of game. As a reminder, I have not been killed yet at all in this game, so I've stuck it out. This is still my first spawn of Subnautica. I love it. That's got me really excited. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just saying it kind of gives something to think about. Like, we'll call it a motivating concept that I haven't had to respawn. So definitely I am always being cautious, especially I am not being overly reckless this playthrough, where I might have been in previous playthroughs. I know I've respawned a lot by this point in time. So let's take a look at, I think we got a few more data points. This is our rocket. It tells us how to assemble it. It is a huge build. Like, we have to put together stuff for several builds. There's our prawn suit. It tells us what it's useful for. And then, let's see here. We got some logs. Let's play it.
Average long-range transmission delay, 8 hours. Opening last recorded transmissions.
This is an emergency distress call. Aurora is on collision course with planet 4546b. Sending all available environmental data. Please respond with rescue solution.
This is Altera HQ. Attached to this message, you should find the blueprints for an escape ship that we calculate will be capable of breaking orbit and getting you back to the nearest phase gate. Now, it's designed to use materials you can find in situ, but it's gonna need one hell of a power source. Now, we'll be sure to...
Aurora long-range communications really offline.
Ouch. Got electrocuted there. Ouch. This was one area that really got me close to drowning a couple of times in games past. Trying to find your way around all these tubes, you have to find this area. And finding your way around these tubes actually was difficult, like the first couple of times I played, because I didn't have as good a air tank. And getting this black box data actually is kind of like one of those achievements. I don't even know if it's an achievement, because technically you should have gotten it anyway. Like, that's funny. For your own enjoyment, you can read these fun little extra editions. They're not exactly story building, but they kind of show that normal life was existing on the ship before this cataclysm happened. So, another door to cut through. Yay! Just one of those additional reminders. Hey, we're going to go into the lab, which I don't remember. There's not a lot in the lab. I think you get a lot of food. Let's go check it out. Okay. Where's the door to the lab? It's right across from where we just came through. Oh, there it is. Okay. I already looked at the code when we picked up the PDA over there. 64883. And then you just push that little arrow. It's like your apply button. And then here we are in the lab. Now, you could pick up some of these things and cart them back to your base and have like lab equipment all over your base, like what we saw in the Dagazi Deep base before. But we do get this little tidbit. This actually, I think we already had the advanced repulsion gun, or now propulsion gun, but you know, it's not a bad deal. Here we were back, we had circled around, and you can see that we actually had this other upper entrance. Ooh, I got burned there. And then this is kind of the exit here. We need to pull some of the debris out of the way, and it turns out some of it was really stuck. But once you clear this entrance, you are back outside in that destroyed area of the forward end of the ship. So, yeah, I hope that helps. Like, you know, we've gone around in a big giant U, and here we are back at the turn where we started. And I'm taking out my aggression against these lovely little cave spiders. Lovely? Ugly little cave spiders, yeah. So, we've got a couple more that we'll run into. But here, I didn't quite look at it But right where to the right here that I'm just about to walk past, that's where we went up the ramp when we got here. And so you can see we've gone full circle, and yeah, it worked out. Now we have to make it back to our Nautilus, and hopefully we don't see any Reaper Leviathans. Got a hole that we can go through. That should be good. I hear the Reaper Leviathan off to the right here, but let's hope we don't see him. And here we go. Get back to the Nautilus. And then we'll go apply some of our upgrades to our various ships. And in the case of the Puddle Jumper, we already have a Mark III depth module. See, we've got 900 meters of depth available to us, so we don't really need that Mark I. And sadly, there's nothing we can do about it. It is proprietary to the Seamoth. But hey, if our Seamoth gets destroyed, somehow we have an extra Mark I module. There you go. That makes sense. Okay, and again, the reason why it's so dark is because we turned off the lights. And you got to be careful with this, because if you don't have a flashlight, trust me, I tried this once without a flashlight. It is really hard to maneuver around this vessel. Yeah. So let's go and put in our other engine efficiency mod. I don't even know if this one stacks, but hey, now we got two. We'll take one out later. And this is a point where you can see you can actually make modifications to the prawn suit or the puddle jumper while it's in the docking bay, even though you can't access their module spots directly. This is a cool workaround that the devs came up with, and I like it. So, let's get back to the base. Here we go, turn engine on, and we will just speed this up and get us back there. Yeah, the Aurora is now safed. Sort of. I mean, it's still technically burning and putting lots of carbon in the air, but whatever. Get to see the sunrise. Got some Leviathans. And, you know, I kind of put a lot of pressure on the Aurora earlier, and I really am wondering why. Like, I guess I had remembered the Aurora as being a lot more tougher than it actually is. So you can see from this video that this is definitely the Aurora was more of an early game, and I was way over prepared for this. So yeah, take it with a grain of salt, I guess. But you know, like it kind of worked out. I'm glad that we didn't die, because it keeps my tally low. But we need to go deep. We need to go into the Lost River to get the nickel in order to make our Mark II, and then we need the Mark II will get us down to the point where we can get the Mark III materials. We need this kyanite, or kyanite, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it is a heat-produced crystalline, which means we have to get to the lava lakes in order to get kyanite. Which means we have to go deeper than the depth of the puddle jumper. Yeah. So there's our little extra module that we stuck on there. It's not exactly helpful that it's on this side. We're going to move it over to the other side, and I'll show you how we can do this. We can access those mods right there, and if we put it right... Oh, I accidentally clicked it out of the... back into my inventory. But yeah, hey, wait a minute. I didn't know it go... Wait, I always thought it went on the side. Oh, it can. Look at this. It's positional. That's neat. Actually, you know what? I like it on the back. So this storage unit actually provides 16 slots where we could store like extra batteries or extra... I'm going to put more stuff in here, like a couple of extra first aid kits and stuff. It's really useful for storing a bunch of extra food if you need it. And we were told to self-scan, and obviously nothing happens this time. I was wondering if the green blobs would show up on my hands, so I took my gloves off.
Coordinates attached.
Let's listen.
Pod is structurally sound, but the fabricator's bust. Requesting assistance. 7.
Signal coordinates corrupted. Approximate transmission origin recorded to data bank.
This is one that I've wondered if we've already found, but I'll have to take a look at it. Here we are, just kind of doing our basic maintenance, recharging things, getting like we've used up a lot of battery power from the repulsor, so we can swap out the batteries. Now we have enough batteries that we can keep a couple of batteries in storage. We can keep a couple of batteries charging. This is nice. And this gets us prepped for our next mission, where we're going to have to collect the drilling attachment to the prawn suit. We might build the prawn suit next time, but I'm not entirely sure. Look. Oh, that view is so cool, especially with the Nautilus right there, kind of just sitting. It's lovely. And I think also we're going to go after some nickel, which means we're going to build a beacon so that we can mark where the entrance, because the entrance that I'm going to go to is really hard to find. And so we're going to go to the entrance that's my favorite entrance for the Lost River. And from there, we will be able to find nickel inside the Lost River. And we should be able to get the deeper Mark II and at least the Mark II in materials to be able to upgrade the depth module for the Cyclops, the Nautilus. And what's really funny is this is one point in time where I am going to probably pull the depth module of the Nautilus, go upgrade it, and then put it back in while being at crush depth. And so we will do damage, but maybe not. I don't know. We'll see. I've done it before, and you don't lose enough health that it actually really hurts. But, you know, here's some more stuff for you to read. And I'm super excited about what's coming up next, because we are now to the point. We are like at the edge of the cliff where we get to dive deep in Subnautica. But for now, this is what we're going to stop at. You guys have a wonderful day. I hope you have enjoyed this. Please leave a like and maybe subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. This is a wonderful playthrough so far. I have been having a lot of fun with this. And I am sorry that I'm doing this pausey-like talk right now. Oh yeah, I was going to tell you about this. The vending machine and the coffee machine basically are your two, will cover your food and water needs if you have nothing else. It's hilarious, but you could literally survive off junk food and coffee. So, that being said, we'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.